Hello and welcome to the No Pro Cricket Podcast, the first episode of it. And joining me is Probuddha Bhattacharjee. And by the name No Pro, we are no professional, and here is Pro B with us. B, it is not the B of Buren Hendricks and myself, Arijit. You can call me a Re, not the Re of Riza Hendricks. Well, I might be getting much better in the lame jokes, but anyways, welcome Probuddha Bhattacharjee. The T20 World Cup is all around, and we are gonna have a very a long talk or a short talk, whatever it is, but we're gonna have something.
Hi Arijit, but first of all, I'd like to say you are on spot with your lame joke. And moving on to the World Cup, yes, the tournament is on fire. So let's begin our discussion.
Yes, absolutely. The tournament is on fire. We have seen a lot of upsets, and we also have seen a lot of nail-biting finishes, some cliffhangers, humdingers, whatever you may call it. Uh, Starting off with one of the biggest things that has happened in the last night or uh, a couple of hours back, that is Zimbabwe thrashing Pakistan by a margin of 1 run. Was it a thing of surprise to you?
Yes, definitely. It was a very big surprise to me because I didn't expect Pakistan to get defeated by Zimbabwe. In fact, the team of Pakistan on paper looked one of the favorites to me. So it was a big surprise. And Zimbabwe did well.
Yeah, and Zimbabwe has been playing some amusing cricket in the last couple of months. They also defeated Australia. Even in the last year, they defeated Pakistan in the T20 on 23rd of April. But coming, I didn't expect like they'll fire in such a way as a team. Like they were individual performances, but if it see in this particular game against Pakistan, there were a couple of performances. You see the last few couple of overs from beat from Richard Ngarawa or Blessing with Rabani, Brad Evans, all of them were spot on. And Sikandar Raza, he has been a special man to them, getting 2 wickets and that too on a trot.
Yeah, Sikandar Raza not only with the ball, yes, with the ball against Pakistan, but before that with the bat also he has been a one man show. So hats off to that man.
Yes, and after that, I would like to also ask you that do you see Zimbabwe getting into the semi-final?
I would say Zimbabwe getting into the semi-finals is a possibility now. But if you look at the group, they have to win all their matches and they have to win by a decent margin. So might be a bit tricky, but you can never expect or never predict something in cricket. It is the most unpredictable game.
Absolutely, very well described, Prabodha. And again, if we come to the pre in that particular day, I think the previous game was against India versus Netherlands, and we saw another good clash. But again, it was good till the 10th over of the first innings, I reckon, because Netherlands was just spot on with the line and length. They kept India on the back foot. India was just 67 for one after 10 overs. So, what are your thoughts on that particular game?
I would say Netherlands were defeated by, of course, a one man, Virat Kohli. He's been in a dream form now. Also, Rohit Sharma played a good innings. He spent some time. He got the game time that he needed to before the important stages of the World Cup come up. And again, we saw one more man getting some good batting in the middle. That's Surya Kumar Yadav. The only problem has been KL Rahul's form. I guess as time goes by, as he gets more time in the Australian conditions, I would say he might come back in form, but at present we are not seeing the KL Rahul we expect to.
Yes, certainly. KL Rahul's form has been a thing of concern for Indian team, and I think the form. If we talk about form, I think in the warm-up match he really played well. It's not just about the form, but playing in the crucial junctures, isn't it? Like in the big matches.
Yeah, because KL Rahul in bilateral series and in the matches in which India is not under in that much pressure, he looks a completely different player. So I think it's a bit of his mindset that is getting affected under pressure. So just I think the team management, whoever is they are working with the mentality of the team, means talking about those mental conditions. Just a bit of tweak in the mentality. Just feel the freedom to go out there and expose yourself even in the pressure games. Treat them as normal games, and I think we will get the KL Rahul we know.
Yes, hopefully. KL Rahul is a very, very potential player. He's also the vice captain of Indian cricket team, and we hope, as a cricket fan, I always wish that KL Rahul comes back and bounces back well. There are vital matches to come up in the next few days, but yes, I would like to also talk about another thing. Do you see Rishabh Pant getting into the side? Perhaps get another left-hander in the batting lineup. Could happen if KL Rahul is dropped, but again, it's thing of debatable, quite a debatable thing. What is your take on it?
I would say it would be a good ploy to get Rishabh Pant into the team and bring in that extra left-hander. It would add a bit of dynamism into the batting order. But the fact is, first of all, I don't think the Indian team management would be experimenting with this kind of a thing in this big tournament. And the second thing is, I don't think it is yet time to drop KL Rahul. They would try one or two more matches, and after that, if his form doesn't come back, we might see a few more chop and changes in the team.
Second with you, Proby. Second with you. You're spot on, and this is what even I feel. Uh, but coming to the next day, we had rewinded things, back to the Pakistan Zimbabwe game, India Netherlands game. But what happened today? And that is two games, two washed out encounters. It has lacked luster, to be very honest, And Australia versus England, at least that could have taken place. वो तो हो ही सकता था, but वो भी नहीं हुआ, and both the matches taking place in the same particular ground. Do you think this is somewhere where the boards need to think a little bit more, or perhaps it can be learning for the future tours to come in or the future tournaments?
I would say, first of all, it was a huge disappointment for me as a cricket fan to not get to watch England and Australia. Well, Ireland and Afghanistan, they also didn't get to play their match. Spoiled chances for them. Whatever they have the chances, I don't means whatever the equation is, we'll get into that or probably in later some chats. But the fact is, we're missing out on an England Australia game in a tournament like World Cup. It's a big upset for any cricket fan, and I would say it's a bit sort of mismanagement from ICC. I would say having more than one game in one particular ground in one day. It's a bit of means haphazard kind of a thing. It was wayward kind of planning, and that's it. Missed out on two vital games, I would say.
Yes, so Ireland and Afghanistan have shared points, and on the other hand, it's England and Australia who have shared their points. And coming to Afghanistan, I think even in the last encounter that was supposed to happen against New Zealand, even that was an washed out encounter. And previously they had lost to England, so they have got 2 points, and that due to rain. So they could have fancied the chances against someone like Ireland, isn't it? Because their upcoming matches, I think, is against Australia, one of them. So they are big nations, and the other being against, I think, Sri Lanka.
The thing is, Afghanistan would have fancied their chances against someone like Ireland, but I don't see them going anywhere further in the tournament with the clashes that are scheduled for them, and also with the weather going on around Australia. I expect a few more games to be washed out practically. And actually, while coming to the second game of the day, while coming to the second game of the day, England and Australia, that being washed out, it has, I think, helped Australia a bit in spite of that negative net run rate, and I would say it has made the journey tough for England.
Yes, the journey for England. Is it really getting tougher? Well, they have a better net run rate in Australia, but Australia is going to face teams like Ireland and Afghanistan. I'm not writing them off. They are good teams. Ireland have beaten England. Afghanistan has been very, very good. Even they were very much close while defending a paltry 128 odd runs against England. So, again, so if you had to choose two teams from Group One, what can we call the group of death? So, which are the two teams you feel is going to go towards the knockout stages?
I would say the group of death has practically turned into the group of death now. It has been split wide open. Australia, I would say the two teams that would qualify from here on would be New Zealand and Australia, because the two games, Ireland and Afghanistan, yes, we should not write them off. But Australia now will be more desperate. They will go all out. And I don't think when Australia goes all out, Ireland and Afghanistan stand that much chance. And when coming back to England, if you see the two clashes are against, I think, New Zealand and Sri Lanka. So I don't expect that much big wins for England, even if they win the two contests. So I think it's Australia going through.
And if you ask it to me, my answer would be New Zealand and Australia. Well, even I feel that England have games against New Zealand, one of them, and the other one being against Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka isn't that a bad team. They are the Asian champions. They have turned the tables around whenever there was a setback, be it the Asia Cup, be it this T20 World Cup. They incurred defeat against Namibia and then won three consecutive matches and lost the last one against Australia. So things are getting very interesting, to be honest, and really looking forward to it. But I'll come back to another point, and that is once again at MCG. Like we discussed about two matches happening in the same venue in a particular day. But what about the MCG drainage facilities? Like we have heard a lot about the facilities that it drains down quite easily. Yes, keeping in mind the fact that it was heavy pour today. So, what are your take on it? What is your take on it?
I think ICC depended too much on the good facility, good drainage facility of MCG, and for that they didn't even want to use the rooftop of MCG. So that was a miscalculation, I think, there, depending too much on the natural facilities, and also keeping too many more than one match on the particular day on the same ground and back-to-back matches. A bit of miscalculation going on there. Listen for the upcoming tournaments.
Yes, and we also have seen in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, if I'm not wrong, we saw that even if there is a rain, if the rain is happening, then the whole field was covered up, right? And that is when Michael Vaughan also pointed out that in such grounds like MCG, one of the iconic grounds ever. So why is there no such facilities? And when you have the rooftop, why isn't it being used? Secondly, why are the outfields not being covered? So these are some talking points, and which I think is we are still yet to listen from the particular curators or whoever the ground officials are, isn't it, Prabhuda?
Yeah, and we are yet to get a view on this from the ICC personals also. Once we get to know why they didn't use the rooftop, why too much dependency on the natural facility, drainage facility, we would get a chance to talk even more. We would be able to give more clear opinions on this.
Yes, without a doubt. And so we'll quickly look forward to the next game that is happening. That is up for grabs, and that is New Zealand versus Sri Lanka. A big match. It starts at 1:30 p.m. IST. And the thing is that who do you see? New Zealand in the first game against Australia, they were simply brilliant. Sri Lanka also played against Australia, but they weren't as very brilliant. But I know this is not the perfect condition or the perfect condition. Whatever I can say to decide like who is a better side. But what are your thoughts on this game? Also, keeping in mind that it is happening in SCG, where there is a little bit of spin, and the ball also comes at the bat after certain interval of initiation of play.
See, I would say that since the game is in SCG and we have seen in that India Netherlands match that the track was slow from the very beginning of the match. I would say tomorrow, though in this World Cup we have not seen toss being a very important factor, tomorrow toss is going to be an important factor. Win the toss, bat first. The team that bats first will have a better chance.
All right, so this is what stats expert Probuddha Bhattacharjee has to say. And uh, so, win the toss, bat first. That could be the thing. That could be the thing for the win. But we'll get to see what happens. But the big thing that is Daryl Mitchell is back, and there is no Mark Chapman. Mark Chapman is likely to make out. That is what Tim Saudi has revealed ahead of the game. Also for Sri Lanka, there is no Binura Fernando. So we might get to see another pacer. Maybe it could be Asita Fernando who gets the chance. Lahiru Kumara has been brilliant, but this is the STG ground. Not sure how much offering he'll be getting. Your views on it?
Yeah, of course, the bowling that they have the backup and some bowlers also, the players they also called for backup. It looks that Sri Lanka might balance it out. But I just wanted to ask you your take on this match and who do you see winning the match and who can be the X factor for that team, whoever wins the match?
See, I feel that if New Zealand is going to bat first, if New Zealand is going to bat first, the tendency will be to play out versus one into Hasaranga or Mahesh Theekshana. Like what Marcus Stoinis or Mitchell Marsh or Glenn Maxwell did in the last game against Sri Lanka was they took on one into Hasaranga. They targeted the main bowler. But I don't think that New Zealand is going to do the same thing with Kane Williamson in the middle, Devon Conway as an opening. Finn Allen can target, but again, he will target only when he's in the middle stages of the game. So if he goes bang bang right from the first, then surely something we can see some things happening. Taking on against this premium spinners of Sri Lanka. I would back New Zealand to win without a doubt. And with Daryl Mitchell coming into the side, the batting always gets heavier, which has been a little bit of talking point. I know they have scored 200 runs in the previous game, but if you look at the warm-up games or the tri-series recently that has happened, the run scoring hasn't been that easy, for New Zealand, especially in the middle stages.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and very good take on the team compositions and chemistry that you have told about, and particularly Daryl Mitchell could be that extra added factor for the New Zealand team for the Kiwis. I also hope that New Zealand wins the match. I like to see New Zealand going into the next stage. As a cricket fan, we all like New Zealand going forward.
Yes, the good boys of cricket, isn't it? Yes. All right, so guys, this is it for today, and make sure to subscribe to the REBORN channel, share it in your timeline, friends' timeline with the fellow friends, and yes, do not forget to click on the notification bar and select the all button. Comment down what your opinions are, what your views are. We're waiting to hear. It's been a long gap in Cricket REBORN, but we're finally back, and this time it could be a bang, and we're hoping for that. But until then, enjoy T20 World Cup, and No Pro Cricket Podcast will be back once again, your daily dose of cricket update. Thank you. Signing off. Tata.